Now back to those major concerns over TikTok. The FCC commissioner is urging Apple and Google to remove the app entirely from its platforms. He says it's posing an unacceptable national security risk to Americans. Let's bring in Vivek Ramaswamy. He's biotech entrepreneur and author of Nation of Victims. He's also the executive chairman of Strive Asset Management. Vivek, thanks so much for being with us today. I want to read this to you. This is from the FCC commissioner. He essentially called TikTok a wolf in sheep's clothing. He says TikTok is not what it appears to be on the surface. It's not just an app for fun sharing fun videos or memes. That's the sheep's clothing. At its core, TikTok functions as a sophisticated surveillance tool that harvests extensive amounts of personal and sensitive data. Are you shocked?
I'm not shocked, and I think that this is actually really interesting because it gets to the heart of a dilemma that a lot of people have wondered about, Jillian, which is how it was that the Communist Party of China went on to embrace such capitalistic principles. And the answer has to do with this. They realized that they could weaponize capitalism as a Trojan horse that the other side could not resist as a way to accomplish geopolitical and eventually, mark my words, even military goals.
Now, quick point, I don't want to interrupt you, but just quick point of clarification for everyone who's watching at home. So TikTok is owned by this company called ByteDance, which is based in Beijing, and critics are contending that they're basically beholden to the Chinese Communist Party. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
And that's not just critics. I mean, it is accepted wisdom. Anyone who's done business in China understands that you are indirectly or directly beholden to the Chinese Communist Party because they run not only the government, but every aspect of society. But here's the thing, Jillian, it's not just the Chinese-owned companies. You're right that ByteDance, the parent of TikTok, is a Chinese company. It is also U.S. companies that do multinational business in China. I mean, great Wall Street Journal reporting a couple years ago, for example, on Airbnb. Unbeknownst to many people, Airbnb has been handing over user data and messages between American hosts and users of their platform to the CCP as a condition for doing business in China. What Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, does to lobby for Chinese companies here in the United States in order to gain the ability to do business in China, this is the game that the Chinese have mastered. They have recognized that Americans could not resist the gift of global capitalism. Let's weaponize that to advance our geopolitical ends instead. And I'm glad that officials, both in the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party, now this can actually be a bipartisan issue, are waking up to that fact when they have been asleep at the switch for the last 20 years as China played that game.
Well, so better late than never, but it's still a head-scratcher how we got to here and now, where the FCC commissioner is now warning about this platform. Hundreds of Americans, of millions of Americans, I think about a third of the country here, a lot of them teenagers, have already downloaded this and used it every day for years now. We've been warning about this by I mean concerned Americans. You know, we've covered this extensively on the network about the national security concerns. Why are we only now in 2022 getting this kind of government warning?
Yeah, we're a little 20 years too late. We're starting about 20 years ago. There was a bipartisan philosophy in favor of so-called democratic capitalism, where we told ourselves a myth that somehow we could export Big Macs and Happy Meals, and somehow that was going to spread democratic principles of governance to places like China. And what China realized is that they could play that game in reverse and send back capitalistically disguised companies as Trojan horses to undermine the United States from within, to harvest data from U.S. users, to hand over back to Chinese companies, to relentlessly criticize the United States without saying a peep about China, creating a false moral equivalence between China and the United States on the global stage. And the game has worked masterfully, I'm telling you, for the last 20 years. However, it is true, better late than never. Now is the time that's going to be that we wake up. However, mark my words, this is going to require sacrifices for companies that have grown addicted to the Chinese market. And it's going to require not companies to make voluntary decisions, but the U.S. government to put the U.S. national interests first. That is the goal of the U.S. government, to at least protect against geopolitical and even in the long run military risks by putting constraints on what companies are able to do for the CCP here at home.
And Congress may have to actually legislate. Vivek, we got to leave it there, but thanks so much for joining us. Happy 4th to you.
Thank you.
So we reached out to TikTok. They did get back to us with a response. They say the following: employees outside the U.S., including China-based employees, can have access to TikTok U.S. user data, subject to a series of robust cybersecurity controls and authorization approval protocols that are overseen by our U.S.-based security team. We know we're among the most scrutinized platforms from a security standpoint, and we aim to remove any doubt about the security of U.S. user data.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.